The news, good evening. The Department of Health says no new cases have been detected so far amongst the close contacts of the 6 Seychellois men who were confirmed positive for COVID-19 yesterday. Until this afternoon, about 200 tests have been conducted on about 100 close contacts. 22 of them are being kept in quarantine at the Bajaya Bovalobe Hotel, and more may be admitted later. On the other hand, the 6 new confirmed cases, plus one of the African seamen, are in isolation at the family hospital at Perseverance. More distant contacts are being kept under active surveillance at home. However, the health authority says it is not yet clear as to how the 6 Seychellois became infected. Meanwhile, investigations as to why so many COVID-19 positive seamen from several African countries were able to travel to Seychelles is still ongoing. The Chief Executive Officer of the Public Health Authority, Dr. Jude Gédéon, says that WHO, the African Union, the AU and the French Embassy are assisting Seychelles with the investigations. However, Dr. Gédéon pointed out that it is not up to the health authority to seek legal recourse in such matters. The Ministry of Employment has reviewed its training programs for people who are unemployed so that it reflects the actual situation in the country. Those who are unemployed now have the choice between 3 programs: skills development, My First Job, and the Unemployment Relief Scheme. The changes reflect the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic that has crippled the economy and left many with no jobs. The Director General for Employment Program, Letimi Dukli, says that the ministry has increased the allowances offered on each program.
We have 3 schemes. The Skills Development Program, it targets students from post-secondary who have dropped out from school or they didn't get a post at the post-secondary schools. And they age between 15 to 30 years. We've reviewed their allowances. So now they're getting between 3,500 to 5,000 rupees. There's also My First Job scheme. And under My First Job scheme, we've introduced 2 sub-programs, which is an internship for university graduates and internship for graduates of professional centers. And if you are a graduate from professional centers, you'll get an allowance of 5,800 rupees. If you are a graduate from university, you get 8,550 rupees. And then the last program is the Unemployment Relief Scheme. And under the Employment Relief Scheme, we've seen a huge increase in the number of people registered with us between April to June. And under the scheme, they get an allowance as well varies from 5,800 to 8,550 rupees.
The government has revised its property exchange policy. Under the previous policy, the main factor considered was the financial ability of the applicant. But now other factors, such as medical condition and the number of people in the household, are also taken into consideration. The Principal Secretary for Housing, Denis Barbé, said the new policy will make the process to exchange property more transparent.
This policy would guide the ministry, members of the public, to make such requests for exchange a little bit more transparent, to know what is to be expected from the ministry and also from the client from a decision-making point of view. All transactions and the criteria and also the factors that we as a ministry, again with our partners at PMC, look at before we give a decision whether or not we undertake an exchange. And where should applications be directed? The policy also covers that. All applications that will be coming in from the 1st of August will be under the new framework.
A former senior police officer has accused the state security of murdering his nephew. Godfrey Emmett told the Truth Commission how Ricky Emmett had feared for his life in the weeks before he was killed. Mr. Emmett, who was Assistant Police Commissioner, said his nephew had assisted state security but had become a liability. The The 26-year-old was stabbed to death at Contourbourg in October 2006. Mr. Hermite said no one was ever arrested for the killing.
Was it because of actions that Ricky did against the codename U, Q and U?
Yes.
Q and U.
Yes. It's like, you've been conditioned. Once state security is mentioned, everybody lie low. It's just like that. Everybody. So no one will attempt to arrest anyone based on whatever information and evidence.
And in today's other cases, another former member of the People's Militia gave evidence about the killing of Joyce Kiledo. Serge Margaret is the second ex-volunteer to appear before the commission and admitted firing 2 warning shots in the air on the night Mr. Kiledo was killed at Anse Royal. The former land use minister, Dolor Enesta, offered evidence he said would debunk earlier claims that he'd unfairly acquired more than 50 parcels of government land. And David Savy, one of President René's stepsons, detailed how the ex-leader escaped several assassination attempts, including a bid to poison his water and planned attacks on his official car. Judge Fiona Robinson's lawyer, Elvis Shetty, today filed his defense case with the Supreme Court. This is a case in which the police had brought Judge Robinson to justice, and this following the judge's decision that a search of the luggage belonging to the leader of the opposition in the National Assembly, Wavell Ramkalawan, was illegal. It should be recalled that the search was carried out early this year by an officer from the Anti-Narcotics Bureau, the ANB, at the Seychelles International Airport. The court had given Judge Robinson's lawyer, Elvis Shetty, up to today to file his defense. The lawyer objects to the case brought by the police before the court. And with this, we end this news summary. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant evening.